Welcome back into Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire. I'm Randy Lee alongside Scott Hardy, and we got a very special guest on the line with us now, Coach Steve Savarese, the Executive Director of the Alabama High School Athletic Association. And, Coach, appreciate you taking some time to be with us tonight.
Well, I do anything for you, Randy. How you doing?
You definitely do, Coach. And what the subject that we'll be talking about tonight, tremendous coach of ours, but I wanted to quickly get into a little AHSAA talk before we go into talking about Coach Martin. When we're in the spring season, you got your book full, don't you? There's a lot going on this time of year.
Well, our entire staff does. This is a very busy time, but it's also a very rewarding time where we have 6 championships in boys and girls sports during our spring. Right now, we're finishing up sub-state golf. I leave tomorrow for Huntsville State Soccer, and Benjamin Russell will be playing in the state soccer tournament. And then we turn around and have baseball, softball, and state golf next week. So decathlon and heptathlon the following week. This is just, again, a very busy time.
It definitely is. And, Coach, I can't commend you and your staff enough for all that y'all do here in the state of Alabama. Brett and I are just lucky enough to come to some of the events, but it's a full-time job getting out there and administering all of these tournaments that go on. So, again, you got a tremendous staff, and I know you want to thank them now.
Well, we do have a tremendous staff. They are tireless workers. They're dedicated and committed to our student athletes within our state. But also, we couldn't do it without the help of our communities that we partner with. They work tirelessly also to enable us to have wonderful events. We talk about it at staff meetings all the time about what we can do to make our events better, but we couldn't do it without our host communities. So it's a cooperative effort, a collaborative effort between our staff, the communities, our schools, our Central Board of Control. Everyone works hard to provide the best for our student athletes.
Coach, let's move over and talk about a subject that I know is dear to your heart, and that is Coach Willie Carl Martin Day that we'll be having here in Alexander City on May the 12th. Coach Nick Saban, many of the other staff there at the University of Alabama, yourself, we'll all be here at Central Alabama Community College on May the 12th, which is a Tuesday at 2 o'clock, and it's a tremendous time and probably past due, but I said a little bit earlier, you don't want to rush into anything. Coach Martin's been so successful in his tenure at Alabama, but we're looking forward to having a big day for him on the 12th.
Well, as you said, it's most deserving. Carl has been a long-time friend of mine. We've been friends for 30 years, and I'm just so thankful for him, mainly because he truly loves Alexander City, and that's his home. He loves that community. He has always loved that community, and I think that's what separates him from so many other people. He has a deep, deep love for that community, and he's a special person. I'm really, really glad to see Alex City honor Coach Martin. He deserves a lot of days because he's made a difference in so many people's lives.
He definitely has. And, Coach, I know that you go back 30 years with Coach Martin, but how did y'all meet, and when did he become part of your staff?
Well, Coach Martin became part of the staff when I first came to Alex City. He was coaching at the middle school. He was an assistant coach at the middle school level, and I watched him interact with those students at the middle school. And I said, I've got to have this guy. He's got to coach with us. And I had to beg Dr. Fanning to let him come over and coach at the high school. Almost had to threaten that I wouldn't come there without him. And because he was, all the successes that we had, he was an integral part of that. Any success that you've seen at the Benjamin Russell program when he was either assistant coach or head coach, he had a huge, huge part in that success. So I just watched him one day. I saw how he loved kids. our philosophies are almost exactly the same. I just knew I had to work with that guy.
We've got Coach Steve Savarese, the Executive Director of the Alabama High School Athletic Association, on with us. And, Coach, I was very impressed with Coach Martin. He was a defensive coordinator when we were in school, and he was outstanding with that. But I remember coming back and talking to Coach Brooks, and he said, Randy, you've got to come watch practice in a game. Coach Martin's all about offense, and he gets it too. And you got to come watch us on the offensive side. So I was always impressed with Coach Martin. He could do a little bit of everything.
Well, Coach Martin's niche was really offense. Coach Martin was an ex-offensive lineman. He really understood offensive line play. But since I coached the offensive line, and, in high school you don't have the luxury of having two people coach the offensive line. We had to find a place. So Carl coached the defensive line. And to be a good offensive line coach, you have to understand what the defensive linemen do. And he was wonderful. We competed against each other every single day. And that's the part that I truly loved about Coach, is what a competitor he is. He's still a competitor. And he loved to win every single day. And if there were times that we'd win a game, he'd be unhappy because everybody didn't play to his expectations. Coach Martin is a tremendous competitor.
He definitely is. And Coach, he moves on to the University of Alabama at a perfect time. I'm gonna let you give a little background of his move from Benjamin Russell High School, because y'all are such close friends, and I'm sure you talk on a weekly basis. But what his job title was there, and what he's been doing the last 7 or 8 years at the University of Alabama.
Well, he worked with player personnel, and again, he worked in the weight room, but he was responsible to make sure the kids were going to class, checking their grades, doing the things that Coach did so well when he coached. As a high school coach, you have to do all of that. You have to check grades, make sure. Coach Martin and I picked up many of student athletes. We had to go pick them up in Old White Cloud, if you remember that. And we rode those streets of Alex City many times. That's what he did when he went to the University of Alabama. He was making sure those student athletes were keeping up with their academic requirements, were in compliance with NCAA rules. And so he was always on top. But Coach Martin, with his coaching ability, he also was on Coach's staff. There were the top 11 coaches, and they were allowed 9 on-the-field coaches. Coach Martin was one of the 2 extra that were allowed to be on the field and to assist. And also, he was part of Coach Saban's leadership team.
Coach, I know you won't take near as much credit, but something I think about a lot is how blessed we were here in Alexander City with the coaching staff that you put together. And most of them are no longer here coaching, but they've moved on to head coaching positions and to other positions here in the state. Just talk about a few of them right now.
Well, I've always, I want to say I was blessed. I was blessed when Dr. Fanning offered, and Mick Dunaway offered me a job to coach in Alexander City. It was a great 12 years of my life where I learned a lot. But one of the most special parts was the individuals that I had an opportunity to work with. And, Coach Martin was at the middle school, and he and I have become dear friends in our life. When my father passed away, my father asked Coach Martin to be a pallbearer, and it was in his will. So for Coach Martin to carry his head in the casket, that's how much my father thought of Willie Carl Martin. And when he came up to North Carolina where he died, I was blessed to work with a man like Coach Martin, and Coach John Blackman, he was there when I got there, but he turned into an outstanding coach, and then he went on to be the head coach at Leroy. Mark Lassiter, who became a head coach, Jeff Williams, who became head coach. Almost every one of our coaches on our staff who desired to leave and to go somewhere else had an opportunity to be a head coach and became very successful head coaches. And that's why we had success. You try to surround yourself with great people. just like we do with the association today, because one person can't do it all. And by having great people work with you, that's why your teams have success. So I was blessed to have great people that work with us, that cared about kids, that would go the extra mile for kids, and that's what we were about. And, it was a great, great staff.
Got Coach Steve Savarese, the Executive Director of the Alabama High School Athletic Association and former Benjamin Russell High School coach here with us. And in closing, Coach, I'm an Auburn guy, but I've been very impressed over the years when we go to Tuscaloosa and see Coach Saban speak and to see how much he cares about high school athletics here in the state of Alabama. And we're thrilled here in the city of Alexander City to have him come over, and that tells you how much he thinks of Coach Martin. And he and members of his staff and the pep band there at the University of Alabama will be here on May the 12th. So maybe talk about Coach Saban real quickly.
Well, we are blessed in the state of Alabama to have two great coaches that are major SEC institutions that truly love high school football. Coach Malzahn at Auburn, he was a former high school coach. I coached against him during 7-on-7 at the Hoover 7-on-7 national tournament. And then Coach Saban, his dad was a high school coach and a coach who understands the importance of a high school coach. And so, we're blessed to have both of those individuals leading our teams in our state. And not many states are as fortunate as we are. And Coach Saban would not come if he didn't think the world of Coach Martin. He loved Coach Martin. And that's why he's coming. And, I know he wishes Coach Martin would continue to work there for a little while longer. But Coach must have made a lot of money while he's there. He's going to retire. He's telling me about all these trips he's going to take. I might have to ask him for a loan before we go on.
Well, you get him to take you on some of those, Coach. We appreciate you being on the program with us tonight. We can't thank you enough for all that you do for athletics, for us here in the state of Alabama, and for Brett and myself. We can't thank you enough for allowing us to be part of y'all's team a few times a year with a radio network.
Well, we're honored to have you, and as I've told you, I've watched you and Brett. I watched you grow up in high school with being adolescents as athletes and young men and turn into just wonderful young men. Your parents did a great job. And now I've watched you grow with the AHSAA Radio Network, and you've taken our network to another level. And again, the reason we're successful is because of individuals like yourself that are part of our team. So we thank you for all you do and what you do for our student athletes.
Thank you, Coach. Look forward to seeing you. Brett and I will be over on Friday with the soccer game for Benjamin Russell, so look forward to seeing you in Huntsville.
I look forward to seeing you guys. Know I love you, and it's always great talking with you.
Thank you, Coach. And that's Coach Steve Savarese. He's outstanding. You just can't say any better words for him than what he's done here in the state of Alabama. And Ron Ingram, who we work with closely, the communications director. Scott, you've been a part of the radio network as well. But Willie Carl Martin Day, May the 12th. Want everybody to make sure they get out there. If you don't have a ticket, pick one up, the Alexander City Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, and again, I'm just listening and reflecting on the relationship between Coach Sav and Coach Martin, and again, being somebody who didn't have the opportunity. Coach Martin was there when I was in high school, but growing up, I saw Coach Sav and could see them on the sidelines, and that was what you wanted to do, was play for Benjamin Russell. So now to see Coach Martin have the success he had on the secondary level, the post-secondary level rather, and then to see Coach Sav doing what he's doing as an AHSAA director, great foundation here in Alex City. I'd love to see people from the area doing great things.
We'll go ahead and take another break here on Sports Blitz Live. We'll take your phone calls on the other side, 256-234-6464 or 1-800-782-0108. More Sports Blitz Live presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire right after this.